Hello and welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. I always forget what day it is at this time of year. You know, we call days Christmas Day and Boxing Day and things. We don't tend to think of them as Mondays and Tuesdays, but it is Thursday today, isn't it? 2nd of January. And we are going to be having a look at a puzzle that I have known about for a while, but I've tried to save for a day when I have a bit more time. Because this is a 5-star out of 5 difficulty puzzle. It's called Cagey Architects, and it's by ChinStrap. And I did a ChinStrap puzzle just the other day. It was fantastic. And GDC, and every single puzzle I have ever done by GDC has also been fantastic. So I have high hopes for this one. It's got Fog of War. It's got Skyscrapers. It's got Two Truths and a Lie as well. So it's a bit of a Roggen puzzle, and apparently it is absolutely incredible. So I'm really looking forward to having a go at it. But yeah, this video might be slightly longer than the average video, so I hope that's all right. We do try and provide you with a variety, subject of course to the condition that every puzzle we feature on the channel will be a world-class puzzle. Yesterday I did a world-class puzzle by Fool on Hill, and I was amused in the comments to find who was it? Let me get the name right. Dan Kai. Dan Kai said he thought that it was my best solve of the year so far, and some other wag said yes, and his worst, and and it went on from there. But anyway, yesterday's puzzle definitely worth having a look at. Very clever puzzle from Fool on Hill, and I'm looking at my list of things to tell you about before we get solving. I've got a couple of things to mention. I've got some birthdays to do, but I should start by saying that yesterday we launched a brand new competition over on Patreon. If you're a patron of the channel over there, thank you so much for supporting us. You keep the channel going. If you're not a patron and you enjoy our content, do consider it. It's only a couple of bucks a month, and I think I could make a good argument. It is the best value for money per minute of enjoyment of just about anything you can possibly do. This month we have The Hobbit, 19 puzzles by Blobz that form this Sudoku hunt, and Blobz has also created this rather wonderful thing. Let me see if this works. I don't know if that's going to be in the right place, but it's a solve counter. Now it last updated over 8 hours ago, so these aren't exactly up to date, but you can see the first puzzle has got 1,000 solves already, and 17, this was 8 hours ago, 17 people had already solved all of the puzzles. I think that might include some test solving, because both Mark and I have had a look at the puzzles, and also of course Blobz and Blobz test solvers will have had a look at the puzzles. So maybe that isn't an accurate count for how many patrons have actually made their way through all of the puzzles, but certainly some of our patrons will have got through all 19 already, and that is really quite incredible. There are some very, very clever people out there. Fantastic work. And the competition, well, it closes on the 20th. Yeah, make sure you get your entries in by then. Now let's do some birthdays. I'll start off by wishing Michael a very happy 18th birthday over there in Brazil. I'm always amazed by where this channel gets to, but Michael, I hope you have an absolutely brilliant birthday today. My 18th birthday, well, it was a couple of years ago now. I do remember it, and I hope that yours is as memorable and features a better chocolate cake than I had. Next, Mrs. Timotab. I did a Timotab puzzle just the other day, and Timotab wrote in to say that it was his wife's birthday, 47, I believe. I don't know your name. I just know you as Mrs. Timotab, and I believe you don't really watch the channel, but I know that Mr. Timotab is very grateful that you allow him to spend time watching, solving and setting puzzles. So Mrs. Timotab, I hope you have a brilliant birthday today, and I hope Timotab has set you a puzzle and made you a cake. And then finally, Rhiannon. Rhiannon, it's your birthday today. I know this because your boyfriend Nick wrote to us and told us that you watch, I think, almost every video, and you find the videos cheering. I don't mean that you sort of cheer when you find the video. I mean that you find them, they make you happy, and that's great. So Rhiannon, I hope you have a great birthday today as well. And that's all the news. So, with that said and done, let me read you the rules to Cagey Architects by ChinStrap and GDC. And I've got my my chain bear skyscraper animation to show you as well. These are the rules. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply in the main 9x9 grid. So, okay, so we've got stuff going on outside the grid. So in this portion of the grid, we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Dynamic fog. The grid is covered in fog. Placing a correct digit in a cell lifts fog from that cell, revealing new clues. Placing correct digits in the main 9x9 grid may reveal additional cells. Ah, okay, so there is a distinction between fog outside the grid and fog inside the grid. So if we get that cell, for example, it might reveal that cell. It might sort of clear the fog from that cell. But it sounds like when we clear the fog outside the grid, it will literally just lift. So if we got that digit, it would just lift the fog from that cell. I think. Might be wrong. Don't know. Now the next rule is skyscrapers. So it says digits outside the grid, excluding the corners, okay, must be filled, and count how many digits are seen looking into the grid in the row or column. Digits are visible when they are larger than all digits before them. I love that phrasing of the skyscraper rule, but if you don't understand it, I have something to share with you, which is this. Now this was created for us by the YouTuber Chainbear, who does fantastic Formula 1 content, if you're interested in that. And Chainbear actually watches the channel and created this for us. Has much better graphical skills, so I shall try and show you what's going on now. So one way to think about skyscrapers is, you can see in this row here, each digit is sort of given a size according to its value. So the highest skyscraper is the 9, then the second highest is the 8, all the way down to the short and stubby 1. Now, if you're then looking at the grid from this direction, in the direction that those arrows just whizzed in from, Chainbear tells us the skyscraper clue would be a 5. Why? Well, you can see from the pink highlighting, we'd see the 2, there's nothing in its way. We'd see the 4 looming over the 2. We'd see the 5 looming over the 4, but you wouldn't see the 1 and the 3 because they are smaller than the 5, so you can't see them behind it. But you'd see the 7, you'd see the 9, and then the 8 would be covered because the 9 is so tall. So that's how it would work from that side of the grid. And let's look at exactly the same row from the other side of the grid, and hopefully you can see immediately that would only be 2, because you'd see the 8 and then you'd see the 9 and everything else would be covered. So as usual, Chainbear, thank you for that. That is, I think, such a beautiful representation of the skyscraper rule. But in this puzzle, we're going to have to bear in mind something called 2T1L killer. Digits in cages never repeat. And for each total in the top left corner, exactly 3 cages display that total. 2 of them sum to that total, 1 does not. So thankfully we can see some cages here. So there are 3 cages here that have 3s in them. They probably all have to be 2-cell cages. I haven't really done the thinking about that, but let's assume they're all 2-cell cages and just give them a highlight. Now, what we're being told is that 2 of these cages, if they were all this size, which do they? Yeah, you could. Yeah, you can't repeat a digit in a cage, even if it's outside the grid. Because skyscrapers, you can obviously have. You can have some repeated digits in skyscraper clues. It would be very easy for both of those squares to be a 2, for example. We only see 2 skyscrapers in that direction. But anyway, let's assume these are all 2 cells. 2 of them would be correct, and 1 of them would have to be incorrect. I mean, it's bonkers, absolute bonkers. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. So let's just conclude. These are all 2-cell cages, aren't they? I mean, the grid furniture suggests, well, they're clearly not 1-cell cages. And if you had a 3-cell cage, adding up to 3, it would have to contain all 1s. And that, I'm going to claim, is impossible. It is impossible. Because it's impossible because we can't repeat digits within cages. Cool, I've got to actually get my brain into gear here and make sure I understand the rules. Yeah, because I was mulling over that sort of pattern. I mean, it doesn't work from a skyscraper perspective, but it really doesn't work because we can't repeat a digit. So these are all, well, they're not all. 2 of them are 1-2 cages, and 1 of them is something else. Right, and that means that 1 of those is telling a fib. And the reason I can say that immediately is, it's not really a secret, but it's a very important thing to get your head around if you're doing skyscraper puzzles. There will be a 9 in row 1 somewhere. And think about what the skyscraper clue is that's associated with a 9. 9 is the tallest skyscraper, so that's always going to have a 1 as its skyscraper clue. And similarly, the corollary of that is, if you do get a 1 as a skyscraper clue, that is always going to have a 9 next to it. Because if it was any other digit, that digit would be seen, even if it was 8, and then you'd see the 9 wherever that happened in the column. So you can only generate a 1 skyscraper clue by an immediate 9 on entering the grid. So let's consider this. If this was a 1-2 pair and this was a 1-2 pair, one of these would be a 9 and one of these would be a 9, and that's going to break Sudoku. So that's wrong, which means this cage is correct. So, hang on, well, let's have a colour for a correct cage. We'll have green. So this is a 1-2 pair. One of these is a 9, and actually it's this one, isn't it? We know it's this one because one of these cages must be correct, because 2 3 cages are correct. So one of these is correct. Let's say it was this one. There's going to be a 9 sitting in one of those squares beneath the 1 that lives in one of those squares. And if this was a 1-2 pair, there would be a 9 in one of those. So this can never be a 9, and that's going to be a 9. And is it going to clear? Oh, yes, it did clear fog. Okay, we've got 3 10 cages now. Now, what does so that is a 1. So that is a 2. There is a 9 in one of those cells beneath whichever one of these 3 cages is correct, and then there's going to be a 2 in the other position. Now 2 is slightly interesting. Just in the sense that the thing is, we don't know, do we? I don't know which of these cages. I don't even know the shape of these cages. You could have a 4-cell 10 cage. Oh, but not with a 9 in it. Oh, but hang on. Hang on. So one, hang on, I need to think about this. So one of these is a 1-2. Whichever one it is has a 9 beneath it. Right. Okay. So I think I can make an argument that that cage is real. Let me try and show you why I think that's the case. So let's imagine this is a correct 3 cage, because we know one of these is correct, and whichever one it is will be a 1-2 pair. Now, in fact, let's just guess an order. We'll go 1 here and 2 here. We then know, don't we, that this will be a 9 because of the skyscraper clue. And in order for this to be a real 10 cage now, this digit needs to be a 1. And I don't think it can be. Because if it was a 1 to make these two digits add up to 10, there would be no... With this one is obviously seen as a skyscraper because it's the smallest, but there can be only one more skyscraper seen in this column. And that's not going to work, because that requires us to put the 9 immediately, and it can't be immediate because of the 9 here. Now, is there anything wrong with that logic, or is that sound? I think that's right. It doesn't matter. The ordering here just doesn't matter. It's simply impossible. Wherever the 9 goes, it will definitely have another cell in its cage at least, and that cell would have to be a 1, and it couldn't be. So that must mean it means that one of these 10 cages, and we don't know the shape of the 10 cages under the fog, but we do know that it's really hard to explain, but what we know is that beneath the correct 1, 2 here will be a broken 10 cage, because you couldn't put 9 and 1 into it. You'll put 9 in, but you can't put 1 next to it, so the 10 cage cannot work. And that means this 10 cage is correct. And it means 1 10 cage under the fog here is correct, but it's not the one beneath the correct 3 cage. This is really complicated. Now, that then is going to put pressure on this, presumably. I wonder... if this cage had been incorrect, let's have red for incorrect. If this had been an incorrect cage, would that skyscraper clue have been still correct, or would it be wrong? I'm just going to check the rules on that. Let me just go back. Digits outside the grid. No. Okay. So that, I think the skyscraper clues are all independent almost of the... Not independent's the wrong word, but if you had an incorrect cage that went into the perimeter, I think the skyscraper digit in that cage still does apply, because it's only the rule, the 2 truths and a lie rule, seems to only apply to the total of the cage. It doesn't sort of invalidate its skyscraper quality. So anyway, that's not going to help us here because this is real. But I was just trying to think about it because I was thinking about this digit and trying to work out the implication. Like, if this was, again, this can't be a 1, can it? And if it's a 2, whatever this digit is has got to be high enough that wherever the 9 goes in the column, nothing... There can't be anything higher than this before the 9. And the same is true for the 2 here. So that digit, yeah, actually that's better. That's better because we know roughly where the 9 is in this row. Yeah, whatever this digit is, this can't be a low digit. Because if it was a, let me just, what can it definitely, well, it definitely can't be a 3, for example. Because if it was a 3, the 9 is the only other seen digit in this row, and wherever the 9 is over here, these digits would have to be lower than 3. And there aren't many digits lower than 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if the 9 is here, 1, 2, 3, 4. There have to be 4 digits that are lower than that. So that's at least 5. So it's 5, 6, or 7. Can't be 8, because we are in a world where the cage has to have different digits in it. So if this was 8, this is a minimum of a 1-2 pair. And 8 plus 1 plus 2 is not 10. But 7 won't work, actually. I don't think... If that's a 1-2 pair, the skyscraper is impossible to fill. Because if this can't be 1, because then that should be 9 from a skyscraper. So we'd be in this world, and if that's a 2 and that's a 1, this is a seen digit. It's not a 9. And then wherever the 9 goes in the column will invalidate this 2. It's quite complicated. So this is 5 or 6. Now, if this is a 6, this would have to be a 1-3 pair. Again, this couldn't be a 1. So it would have to be that way round. Now, if that was 9 and that was 8, that might be okay. And what about if this is 5? If this is 5, then these digits just add up to 5. So these digits are definitely from 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because they're either a 1-3 pair or they add up to 5. And that can never be 1 because this can never be 9. Okay, but there's more, isn't there? Because even if this is... Well, hang on. If the 9 is there, the 8 will be seen in the row. And that will invalidate this. So the 9 is not there. If this is a 9, then the only way 8 isn't seen in the row by this 2 is if the 8 is there. So 9, 8. Oh, see, that actually would work. Because then this would be a correct 1-2 pair. And the 2 would be very nice over an 8 here. And then down in this column somewhere will be a 9 that would be the second digit seen. I quite like that. So 9 here. Oh, no, but where's 7 then? Ah, yeah, that's it. Right. This can't be 9. So the 9 is in this cage. This is big because that's going to get me stuff up here. This can't be 9. And the reason is this 2 clue. This 2 clue has to not see anything greater than this digit. Let's make this digit as big as we can, 6, to make it hard. We still have to find 7. We have to hide 7 and 8 in this row before, or sort of to the right hand side, to this side of the 9. And that cell cannot be a Schrödinger cell. It could only take 1 digit. So that can't be 9. This might be able to be 9 if that was a 7, 8. But now this is great because now we know that the 9 is above or below, sorry, these. So this is a real 1-2 pair. This is an incorrect cage. And, oh, bother, are we not going to know where the 9 goes? If that's 9, that has to be 7, 8. Ah, this is so weird. It's absolutely bonkers. Okay, but that doesn't work. This is really complicated, but remember what we said. We said wherever the 9 goes, its 10 cage is incorrect, because whichever one of these is a 2 can't have a 1 sitting beneath it, because the 9 in that column can't be in this row, so it's going to be somewhere in those cells, and then you're going to see this digit below the 1 and therefore the skyscraper will be wrong. So, as this can't be 9, 1, this and it might go further, but this is definitely an incorrect 10 cage. And that means this is a correct 10 cage. And again, we don't know where this goes, but it's definitely those two squares. And now that cannot be a 7-8 pair, because the 7 and 8 don't add up to 10. There is a knowledge bomb for you. So that can't be 9. So the 9 has to be, I think, there. Oh no! Has that cleared the fog from that cell? It has cleared the fog. Does that mean it's correct? We just didn't earn any fog, sort of dynamic fog from it. I'm not sure. Oh, that's a 1. So that's a 2. That is clearing fog. So it might be correct. I mean, logically it felt correct. Right. Now this square can't be a 5, I don't think. Because if this is 5, these 4 have to be unseen digits. So they would be a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple in the row. And this would be a 5. So these two squares would be at least a 6 and a 7. And they wouldn't add up to 10. So that has to be a 6, I think, on that analysis. Again, nothing happens. This is now... Oh, well, this is now a 1, 3 pair. And we know the order. And this now has just got revealed. So I think we are on the right lines. This is now at least a 3-cell cage. So let's extend that down there. These digits are all lower than 6. So they are 2, 3, 4. Or from 2, 3, 4 and 5. So there is a 7 or an 8 in here. Ah, okay. It can't be an 8 because it's a 3-cell cage. So there must be a 7 in there. I mean, the only way this works is if it's 7, 1, 2, because we know it's a 3-cell cage, and the 1 goes here. So that's a 1. 1 here by Sudoku. This is a 2, 7 pair. These are not 2. This is an 8 by dint of... Oh, an 8, which has revealed 8 cages. So that skyscraper clue is definitely correct. Whatever happens in this column, there is definitely a 1 in one of those squares. You can tell I'm a bit worried, but I'm I've got 2. No, goodness, I had a horrible moment then when I saw 2 1s in row 2, but that one is not in the grid, so that's okay. That is okay. I was going to say, okay, no, they don't have to add up to 3, so that I can ignore this cage now. I'm almost tempted to take the red cells out, actually, because I don't know they're going to help me. So we've got an 8 cage here. A 3-cell 8 cage, which can't have a repeated digit. So that is going to include a 1. If it's correct. So if it's correct, the 1 would be a real skyscraper clue. So this would be... Oh, that can work. 1 here with a 9. I've got a 9 pencil marked into one of those 3, so why couldn't it be there? So 1, 9. That would be... Well, it depends on the order of this. That's interesting, actually. If this is a correct cage, this digit, what's the skyscraper clue that would accord with this pattern? Well, if that's a 2, it would be, this cell would be a 4. And if that's a 7, this cell would be a 3. So this would be a 1, 3, 4. 8 cage, and that would be that would be a 3 or a 4. And that looks quite doable, doesn't it? Because we've got 1 and 8 here. Sorry, 1 and 9 there. But a whole lot of real estate to sort of build our skyscraper pattern up along the row. So I quite like that as being a true cage. Now, what about if that's true? If that's true, it can't have 1 in it. Ah, if that's true, it's a 2-6 pair. Because it can't be a 3-5 pair. Or these two digits would both have to be 4. So there are 3 ways of making a domino add up to 8 in Sudoku: 1, 7, 2, 6, and 3, 5. So this would have to be 2, 6 if it's real. And that one, no, that one has to be, that's a shame. That's a shame. I was wondering if I could get these to have the same digits, but this one is not 2, 6 and it's not 1, 7. So if this is real, it's 3, 5, and that would be a 4. And what on earth am I meant to do? Does that have to be correct? Yes, so all skyscraper clues have to be correct. So how, if this was a 3-5 pair, it couldn't be 1, 3, 5, because then the 9, wherever it is in the column, would make it at least a 4 clue. So it would have to be 1, 5, 3, and then wherever the 9 was, it would have to come before any digit higher than 5. I mean, I've said this a lot recently doing these puzzles, but I don't know how to describe it. It's deep admiration for constructors and deep frustration with my own brain. I mean, there's nothing to look at here. There is nothing to look at. You can only, that's the thing about Fog of War, it can only be something to do with these squares and maybe, but this is wrong, so that doesn't do anything. Or Sudoku, and there's not, I haven't got enough digits for it to be Sudoku. So it's literally, look at these cages and work out which one can't work. And why can't I do that? And I hear a chorus of people from the future going, because you're a Muppet. No, I don't want to be a Muppet. I am not trying to be a Muppet. This is the most determining, isn't it? I mean, if that is, it's a 1 here with a 9 and a 3, 4 pair. And that can work. I think it's still okay. I was worried. I was thinking about where the 8 would go in this row. Is there a problem? And 7 actually. Hang on. I'm actually going to put this in so I can think about it. It would be 1 here and a 3, 4 pair like this. And then in this row, if this is correct, I've got to make this clue. Well, the 8 would be seen because it will come before the 9. The 8 could cover up the 7 if it was, say, 8 here, 7 here. So this would be a 4 because something here would be seen. No. Right. This is a problem. Goodness me, this is really tricky. Right. If this is true, and that's true, we said this had to be 2, 6. Now, I'm going to claim that the 6 in here is seen by this clue. Because I can't put 7, 8 or 9 into these squares to shield it. So bear with me. So the 6 is seen. I'm just going to put a 6 there to show seen. The digits in here, one of them at least will be seen. Because we can't put 7 and 8 in these squares. So that whatever digits we fill in these cells with, they're going to be from 3, 4 and 5. And they're going to be, well, one of them at least will be seen. So we're going to see 1, 2, 3, and the 8, wherever that goes, is going to be seen. 4 and the 9 is 5, and that's not going to work. So this is correct, because all I can conclude from that is I can't simultaneously make this correct and this correct. So this is correct. And if that's correct, we said this was, this is going to give me a digit. So hopefully we're going to clear some fog. That is a 4. It is a 4. But it didn't clear any fog. It didn't clear any fog. Does it do anything else, though? It means... No, we don't know whether this is real. Oh, no. What are these digits, then? 2, 7, and 8. And that is as useful as a chocolate teapot. Good grief. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am feeling... I don't know. I don't know. So I got... Oh, I see. Hang on. I have only just seen. I've got a new thing here. I've got a cage, but I can't see the total of it. I know it goes there and there. So... But that can be a 3. Oh, I see. Oh, that's brilliant. That's genius setting. Something I do wonder about with collaborations is, you know, whether if they're watching a solve of a collaboration, they go, "Well, that was mine. That bit was mine," and whether it would predominate. So, like would all of the steps where I go, "Oh my goodness, that's totally foxed me," go on one side of the equation or the other. I don't know. But look, this digit is absolutely beautiful, because we can see that the 4 is seen, the 7 or the 8 or both. Here, there must be a 7 or an 8 or both, and so one of them is seen. So this clue, the skyscraper clue for this, is now at least 3, because we're going to see 4, 7, 8 or both, and then the 9, wherever that lives in the column. So this is at least a 3. Now it can't be a 4, because it would repeat in its cage. And it can't, believe it or not, be a 5, because if it was a 5... there's no way to make it work, because there is a 7 or an 8 here. You'd see the 4. The best we could do is 4, 7, 8, 9 for a count of 4. That doesn't work, so that's got to be 3. Oh, I don't believe... Well, all right. Now I'm going to use... Oh, I've got a 9 cage here, but also this doesn't work. Because that digit is now by Sudoku. We can't repeat digits in a cage. That is a 5. And that 9 cage adds up to 12, which is wrong. So that is very useful, except for the fact... I'm just looking around trying to see where the other 9 cages are, and we haven't got any. So that is a 3 by Sudoku. It's so ridiculous. This is a 3, and that's a real skyscraper clue. 1. I can say now this is not a 7-8 pair in the order 7-8, because that would make this into a 4. But I don't think I can say more than that. But perhaps I can in a way that I don't understand. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. How can I get... Oh, that's a 2. Right, is that going to clear fog? No. Is there some reason this can't be a 2-6 pair anymore? If it was 2-6, if that's... No, I don't think so. I might be wrong. This 2 clue is correct. That's fine. Is there a reason this can't be 1, 3, 4 anymore? That would put 9 there. We know that. This would be 3 or 4. Well, it would be 4, wouldn't it? Because we're going to see something here. It's probably this. I'm going to come back to this. 1, I think this has to be 4, this has to be 3. Because I don't think I can keep this down to 3 for the reasons we said before, which is that the 8 in the row has to be somewhere over here. So you're going to see the 1, you're going to see something here, you're going to see the 8, and then you're going to see the 9. Now, is there a reason? So what we're saying is there a reason? If this is correct, so this would be wrong, so we can put anything into it. There would... I don't know actually. Or is it some sort of weird... no, I haven't got it. I thought I had it for a moment, and I haven't, and that's infuriating. I almost did it with Sudoku. So what I noticed was 2, 7, and 8. These 2 digits have friends there, don't they? So those 2 digits go in those 3 squares. 2 of those 3 squares in row 2. So, okay, all right. So what that means... that means that there is a sort of floating triple of 2s, 7s and 8s. So those 4 cells of row 2 contain 2, 7 and 8. So the other digits are 3, 4, 5 and 6, aren't they? So these digits are from 3, 4, 5 and 6, definitely. And that's probably important for reasons I have no idea how to articulate even. I haven't got a clue. What on earth am I meant to do next? If that's 2, 6... these are from 3, 4, 5. This is from... oh, can I not put... oh, okay, there is a problem, isn't there, with this being... have I made a mistake, though? So what I said was 2, 7 and 8 have friends here, so 2 of them are in there. That's correct. That must be correct. So this is a triple on 2, 7 and 8 in 3 of those 4 squares. So 3, 4, 5 and 6 are to be placed. So if this was 2, 6 now... no, these would be... that still works, doesn't it? If this is 2, 6, these are from 3, 4, 5. One of them is 4. Oh, and these would be 7 and 8. Have I gone too high with my skyscraper? Ah, maybe that's it. Maybe I've gone too high with my skyscraper clue. No, I haven't. No, I have. Oh, this is... no, because... oh, hang on. But no, one of these is wrong. Oh, no. Oh. I don't know then. I still don't know. If this is correct, it's 2, 6. This is a 7, 8 pair. And I'd know the order, because I can't break this clue. So this would be 8, this would be 7. But if this is not 2, 6, then this is 1, this is 3, 4. Let's go back to this. There must be a reason this is broken for... I don't understand. So this would cause 9 here for sure. I don't think that does anything. he says, somewhat whimsically. I don't know. This would see 1. It would see at least 1 digit here. And it would have to see only 1 more. So the 8 in this row from this direction would have to come earlier than the 7. So this couldn't be 8 then. This would be 2 or 7. And we know it couldn't, for the purposes of this skyscraper clue, this would have to not be 7. So this would have to be 2. So this would be a 7-8 pair. 7 and 8 would be in here. And again, the 8 has to be to the right of the 7. So the 8 would be in the 8 cage. The 7 would be in one of these 2 squares. And I don't see the problem. I don't know. I don't see the problem. What have I got wrong? Have I just been really stupid about something here? I'm now... Oh, I know what I could do. Look. This one. Oh, that's great. I'm so relieved. I couldn't understand how to do it. It's got to be that order. Oh! And I got more. Okay, great. I've got a 9... Okay, so this 9 cage is real. Because that one we know is not real. So, it's not got 3 in it. So, it's got to be 1, 2, 6. There's 3 ways of making 3 digits add up to 9. They are 1, 3, 5, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 6. And if 3 can't go, oh, look, this is beautiful. So this is actually good, because I couldn't understand how to resolve this. And I never had to, because once you get this can't be a 2, 6 cage anymore, because this cell can't be either digit. So this is telling fibs, this is telling the truth, and it is 1, 3, 4, and we know the order. It's that order, which means this is higher, so that's 7, that's 2, this is 9. Oh, look at this. Oh, we're away now. This is a 2 by skyscraper logic. Ignore that 3, that's a nonsense. Now, let's be careful. Let's be careful. This 8 cage is a nonsense. It doesn't... I mean, maybe it could be a negative constraint in the sense this cannot be a 2-6 cage now. I'm going to actually make it red so we remember that. That's definitely got to be wrong. Also, this can't be 8 anymore, can it? So I think this digit is going to get revealed to us, because this is some of the thinking we've already been doing. If this was 8, 1, 2, wherever the 7 is, we'd see it. 3, 4, 5. So that cannot be 8. And from this perspective, if this is 7, we're going to see 1, 2. We'll see... Oh, no, hang on. I've got to be careful here. No, I've got to be careful, because... Yeah, I do have to be careful, because if that is 7 and then the 9 is earlier in the column than the 8, that's fine. So this can't be 7 here and 8 here. That's true. So that can't be a 2, can it? Because that would cause this to be 7 and this to be 8. So that is not 2. So this digit, which is a correct skyscraper clue... I'm not talking about the cage. I haven't thought about the cage yet. But that digit is a 1, 2, or... No, it's a 2 or a 3. It can't be a 1 because this isn't a 9. Okay, so maybe this is what we're meant to do, is to think about whether this can be a real 16 cage. Can it be a real boy? Pinocchio, are you a real boy, or are you telling fibs to me? If that's 2, then what? I don't know. We've got, actually, we do have to be careful with that being a 2. Okay, if this is real, yeah, if this is real, let's just think about that. Let's focus in on that. If this is real, it can't be 2, 8, 6 because of the 6 here. So if this is 2, it has to be 2, 7. But then this is 8, and that's going to invalidate this 2 clue, because it's going to go 2, 7, 8, 9. So this has to be, if this is real, this has to be 3. So this has to be 7. Yeah. Oh, but that doesn't work. Oh, that's beautiful. Good grief. How do you discover this stuff? Right. This is impossible to... It cannot be true. We've proved it's not true for a 2. If it's a 3, this can't be 8. Otherwise, it's not going to see enough skyscrapers. So this is 7. 3, 7. That's 6. And the 6 is there. So this is telling fibs. So this is telling the truth. Oh, okay, that's telling the truth, and it's a 5-cell 16 cage. There's only one way of making 5 cells add up to 16 if you can't repeat a digit, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. There's no 2 in those squares by Sudoku. That digit is not a 1 because where you couldn't then put 1 in this box anywhere. Because it couldn't repeat in its cage, it couldn't repeat in its column, and there's a 1 there. So that's also true. Oh, this is not right, is it? So I can't use that. Golly, it's getting difficult because I've got to keep track of all these skyscraper clues going on outside the grid. That's not a 1 anymore. This 8 cage is irrelevant to the world. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, okay. Yeah, these, I'm going to actually label that just for a moment. 3, 4, 5 and 6 in here, because that feels to me like, oh yes, I see. Where's 7, 8 and 9 in column 8? And the answer is there. So there's something going on with that. So, okay, this is a 7, 9 pair by Sudoku now. 8 is definitely in one of those squares. We don't know what this is. That would be useful, wouldn't it, in determining how that skyscraper worked. Those are not 3s by dint of our 3 over here. That 1 clue is fulfilled. Maybe I know what I should do. I should tick them off when I've done them. Sort of when I've made most use of the skyscraper clues. That one is used. That one is used. That one is not used. That one is used. That one... Oh, I don't know. I've got to ignore the 16 cage. So... I don't know how to do that. If this is a 2, can we hide the... No, you've got to be really careful. If this is 2, that has to be 8, because otherwise the 8 will be before the 9 in the row. And if this is 3, that is 7. 3, 7, 2, 8. And doesn't that... Oh no, that doesn't break this one. The only thing that breaks this one is if this was 7, 8, which we've proved it can't be by insisting there's a 2 in this sequence. I mean, what else is it meant to do here? There's nothing else to look at. It's the same thing again. It's just mystifying. What on earth am I meant to do? Okay, 1 in column thingy, this column, is in the 16 cage. So that is not a 1. Five in this column is definitely up there, so it's not in those squares. Ah, see, we're getting closer. I know there's a 2 down here, don't I? I don't think I know which cell it's in. I definitely know there's a 1 here. I definitely know there's a 1 down there. And the upshot of all of that is what? The 1. If this was 3, yeah, we can put, okay, yes, yeah, it's going to be to do with this 4 clue, and ensuring that we don't break the skyscraper limit in this row. If this is 3, this will also be seen. So we'll see 1, 2, 3. We'll see the 8, and then we'll see the 9. That's too much. So that is not 3. This is 3. Yes. Okay. Now, has that done anything for me? The answer is probably no, believe it or not. Well, 3 comes out of these squares. So 1 and 3 are in these squares now. I've got a 2 for okay, 1 and 5 in this column have suddenly disintegrated down to the bottom of column 7. I don't know what that does. It's I tell you what though, it is really exciting when you find something in these puzzles. It feels like a massive rush of adrenaline. Now, I know I've got, so I'm seeing this, 1, 2. So the 7 in this row must be later in the row than the 8. So the 8 is definitely in one of those squares, and the 7 is in one of these 3 squares. But it doesn't really matter to us, does it? And we don't care, I don't think, about these. I'm not sure, but I don't think we do. Oh, 5. Sorry, I hadn't seen that. Oh, I'm going to get 5. This might be it. This might be it. Oh, it is! Oh, that's really weird. Because I noticed when I put an 8 in earlier, it revealed 8 cages. And then, what revealed that 9 cage? I don't know whether it was when I put a 9 in. But when I put the 5 in, I've got 5 cages emerging. Now, a 5 cage, if you can't repeat a digit in it, these are all dominoes. Well, whichever 2 are real, they are dominoes. Which might matter. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I tell you what it might be. It might be Sudoku in this box. 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Actually, maybe it's not. 4, 7, 8, 9. So 4, 7, 8 into those squares by Sudoku. Ah, no, sorry, I thought maybe that did something, because I could see 1, 2, 6 and 3 looking at these squares, and 5s and 9s as well. So 4, 7 and 8. There's probably Sudoku to be done, but I'm not seeing it. Okay, so 5 is definitely in one of those squares. So 5 is definitely in one of these squares. 9 is definitely in one of those squares. So 9 is definitely in one of these squares. Now, so if that was 9, that would break the 5 cage. Actually, it's quite difficult for that cage to be real. Let me just highlight that for a moment. If it's real, that digit has to be lower than 5. It could only be 4. So this would be 4, and this would be 1. And that would be 1. This would be a 7-8 pair. That would make this a 2. That's a 7. That's an 8. Oh, I mean, if that is a real 5 cage, it does wonders. I can't see why I can't see why it couldn't be. There may be a reason. In fact, oh no, we can't. What I was planning to do then was to write 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s into these, but I just can't do it. Oh, well, no, I can't. Oh no, I can't. I thought I could for a moment, but no. No. Bother. Bother. Right, okay. So, what do we do next? We could argue that I see, I can't. Well, no, it must be legitimate from a skyscraper. Forget the cage. There's a 9 quite close to the boundary here, so that square is a 1, 2, or a 3, regardless of this 5 cage. Because if that's a 9, obviously this is a 1. If that's a 9, you could go, I don't know, 7, 8, 9. But you can't make that bigger than 3. So if this is a genuine 5 cage, that is 2, 3, or 4. I don't know if that's okay. It might be. I don't know. Let's try this one then. If that one... Well, there are some high digits here. Okay, so let's assume... Yeah, this is quite interesting, I think. Imagine that's a 7. So this could be a seen digit. Well, it would be seen because it couldn't be 7, 8, or 9. So the maximum skyscraper clue either of these can be is 4. So this one looks very likely to be correct, because it sees a high digit so early on in its journey through the row. So these two, they're either going to be 1, 4 or 2, 3, assuming they're correct. Now, is that doing something? Oh, I can't tell. I'm annoyed with myself now. These are definitely lower. In fact, maybe that's what I've got to do. I've got to pencil mark this in order that I can see what's going on. No, not 5. 2, 3, 4, and 6. So if either of these was 9, that would force one of these to be a 2, and therefore a 2, 3 pair if this is correct. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I was wondering whether I could limit 9 in here. I think I can, actually. I think I can. Yeah, I can. I don't think the 9 in column 2 can be really low down because of this 3 clue. If the 9 is down here, these digits would have to be all lower than 5 in order for this 3 clue to be correct. And I could put 2 and 4 in here, but then I'd run out of digits, and the next digit I chose would be higher than 5, so a 9 down here would invalidate this clue. So the 9 in column 2 is in one of those 3 squares, and that means, this is interesting, this is where the 9 is in column 3. So this digit, from ignoring the 5 cage, is a 1, 2 or a 3 from a skyscraper. So the only way this is correct is if it's 2, 3. And that, if this was, so if this is correct, there would be an X-wing of 9s in those, and that would be a 9. So, what does that mean? Don't know. This would be a 7-8 pair. So if this is correct, this is a 7-8 pair. So well, hang on, that can't work. Goodness me, this is confusing. Right, okay. This is big though, because I worked out earlier if I could prove this was correct, it did the most immense amount of work. I now think this is correct, because I'm going to claim, and this might be wrong, but let's go with it for a moment. I'm going to claim these 2 purples can't simultaneously be correct, but it's complicated. So let me try and explain. If this is correct, because the only options we don't have a 4 as an option because of the 9 cages. This would be a 2, 3 pair. Therefore, neither of these is a 9, because a 9 in either of these would put a 1 in here. So there would be a 9 in one of those and a 9 in one of these. And that's the 2 9s that we need for this row, these 2 rows, aren't there? So we can't have a third 9 in just these 2 rows, because that's going to break Sudoku. So the 9 in this congregation would be there. And then we're faced with a question. Let's just think about this. If this was a 7-8 pair, and we're trying to make these correct 5 clues, how can we do that? From a skyscraper perspective, this one is seeing 1, it's seeing this, and it's seeing wherever this 9 is. So it's seeing at least 3, and this one is seeing at least 3 as well. And 3 plus 3 is more than 5, so that cannot work. It's not possible for that and that to be correct, which means this is correct. And if this is correct, we knew that digit, didn't we? That is a 4. Oh no, is that actually not cleared fog? It did clear fog, thank goodness for that. It didn't give me any digits. This is now 7 and 8. So this is now a 2 by Sudoku. Yes, this is a 7. This is an 8. This is a 7. This is an 8. Now this could be exciting. This is a 1, it's real. So this is a 1. Oh, bingo! Bingo! That's definitely wrong. That's definitely a... So this is definitely correct. This is going to do other things. Oh, I love this puzzle. It's absolutely breathtaking. It's not, however, at least for me, very easy. 2, 4 and 6 into those squares. Now, do we... No, there's no negative constraint there that's going to help us, so we can't use that. This square is a 3. 3, 8, and then wherever the 9 goes. So that is a 3. That cleared fog. This one we haven't got a clue about. Do we have to be careful now with this row? If that was a 6, that wouldn't work. 1, 4, 6, 8, 9. That can't be a 6. So there is a 6 in one of those squares, which would be seen by after the 5. There's a 6 in one of these, there's a 6 in one of those. I don't know if this is important, but I might as well do it. I mean, it's anything you get could reveal fog. Oh, this is a 2. Because let's make sure I change the colours of the ones I've done. That one I've done. That one I've not done, have I? Or does it matter now? Maybe it doesn't matter now I've corrected this. I think it's impossible for me to reach a bad total here now. Now I've got the 8 in this position. So I think that one is done. This one is done because I see 8 so early. This one is not done. I've got to be a bit... Oh, I actually do have to be careful in this column. Because I've already seen 1, 2. I mustn't see an 8 before the 9, and the 9 is low. So how could the 9 be here? It can't be. Then I would see the 8 wherever that goes. So the 8 has to hide in the bottom of column 3. It's right down there. But let's go back to these 5 cages, because now we know this one is definitely wrong. Because it's 4 cells. You can't make 4 different numbers add up to 5. So this is correct. So this is 2 and 3. So, oh, look, that's another way we could have proved this wasn't a 9. So then, okay, so we do have an X-wing of 9s, which does take 9 out of here, which does place 9 here. It just doesn't do anything. And we know this is wrong, don't we? Well, we do. But these skyscraper clues have to be correct. Oh, right. This is weird. Right. Okay. None of those squares is 1. So we can't put 1 into these 2 squares. What's this? It's 2, isn't it? I think it's 2 because the 9 is so early. So these are not 2. That's not. This is a this is a 6. It can't be 2, 3, or 4. It would repeat in the cage. It's 6. It did clear fog. Okay. It did clear fog. Didn't do anything else. That's not 6 anymore. So there's definitely a 3 in here. Oh, I think we already knew that. Wow. Okay. Oh, I don't know what to do now. Let me think. I've got 2 and a 3 here. Yeah, see, if that's 9 and that's 8, that works very nicely for a 2 here. And then we just would have to ascend to a 9 here, which would presumably be quite simple. How long have I had? 1 hour and 10 minutes. That has flown by for me. Okay. No, this is a 5-9 pair in column 5. And there's definitely a 2 in there. I think we've known that for a while. And the nines in these rows are here. So that feels odd. That feels like there's a problem with 8. Is that wrong? Hang on. One of these is 8. So that whichever one is 8 is going to correspond with a 3 in these positions, because you're going to see this digit always. Then you'll see the 8, then you'll see the 9, wherever that lives. The 4 is going to see something here, a 7, and then it needs to see an 8 before it sees the 9, because that's the only digit that's obviously between 7 and 9 in the row. So whichever one of these is 7, it's going to need an 8 there or an 8 there. Yeah, that's really important. That's really important because okay. Because I think that's going to make this an 8, which is going to make that a 2, which is going to do all sorts of things. Right. So what I'm claiming is the one of these that's a 4, it sees a 7 so early in its row. That's a bit of a problem for it, because it's going to see this digit or this digit. Then it's going to see 7. And it's going to see 9 in one of these squares. So we need the 8 to be to the right of it, don't we? In whichever one of these is a 7. And I think the only place that can be is in one of those squares. I mean, and if the 9 is earlier, it would have to be one of these squares. But crucially, it has to be in one of those squares. And therefore, where is the 8 in row 9? It's not capable of being in these squares anymore. So it can only be here, according to the pencil mark we made earlier, to do with this column. So that is 8. That was correct. This is 2. This must be 3. I see it's so... Well, no, that's great. I was about to complain about the fact I wasn't getting any resolution, but I am a bit, because this 3 prevents this from being 9. So the 9 must be in the 3rd position, which means this is 9, and our X-wing unwinds. And now, look, now we're up again. We've got another cage here, which is a 16 cage. I've had one of those already. I've had at least one. I think I had 2 of those. Didn't I disprove that one? Yeah, this one's wrong. So this is a correct 16 cage. If that can't be 5. If that's a 5, that would be a 1, and that would have to be a 10, and that's not going to work. I had a moment as I was uttering that where it's like, could you have a 10 skyscraper glue? No, you really can't. So what does that mean? Are we Sudokuing this digit, or are we calculating skyscrapers on this digit? 1, 5. Oh no, I think that could be fairly large or fairly small. It could be as low as 2, I think. 5, 1, 2, 4, 9. That could be as low as 2. That would make these 14. That would make that 9, so it's not as low as 2. What about that square then? From a Sudoku perspective, it's, well, what is it? It's not 1, 2, 6 because of this. So it's 3, 4, 5, 7, is it? I think it's 3, 4, 5, 7. There may be a way of limiting it further, which I should probably give some attention to. Well, I've just worked out it's not 5, so it's 3, 4, or 7. So if it's... Well, what's the maximum skyscraper clue there? 1, 5, 6, 7, 9. 1, 5, 6, 7, 9. 5. But that... Okay, that's okay, isn't it? So these have to add up to 11. Yeah, okay, these 2 digits have to add up to at least 11, and that's if I max this out. So there is no way... Well, this has to be 5. And in fact, it has to be 5, 7, I think. If this is 3 or 4, I can't make this add up to enough. So I think this is 7. This is 5. This is 1. This is 4 by mathematics. Oh, I didn't do it. Okay, but can we... Is 4 difficult? 5? Yeah, 4 is really difficult in this column. We have to see the 6 early enough. So that has to be... Oh, I don't know if that worked or not. I think it was logical. That's 6 now. It is logical. It is filling in. When I say filling in, that's totally not what it's doing, but you know what I mean. This has to be 7. That has to be 9. That has to be 9. That has to be 5. I don't think this is clearing more fog, but it's quite exciting. Now 1, 3 come out of here. We know what these digits are now. They've got to be 2, 5, 8. So these are 3, 4. Sort of weird pattern there. Oh, well, that makes that square a 2. So this is not a 2. That's not a 1. Don't tell me we're chocolate depotted, are we? We might be. Hang on. Oh, no, still don't know. I thought I was going to know which one of these was 3 or 4, but I don't think I do, because I can still put an 8 there, I think. Oh, I don't believe it. Okay, in this column, that is a 3. Because it's C7, it's going to C8, and the 9 is at the top. So that is a 3. That's a 1. This is 1. This is a 3 as well. That's definitely a 3. You can't get a 3 in the corners of this puzzle, but you might be able to get a 3 here. That's our last hope. This is a 9. I haven't got that before. That's Sudoku giving me a digit. That feels like quite a rarity. This is a 3. So, no, I was going to say maybe this row, but actually I don't. Well, maybe this column. 1, 3, 5, 6. That is a 5 or a 6. I might as well. In fact, look, I'm not going to be proud about this. This puzzle is difficult enough. I am going to pencil mark everything. See, that's why you should never do it. It just doesn't work. It's a strategy that doesn't work. You can't repeat a digit in a cage, so that can't be a 2. Because there is a 2 in there. That's the sort of thing that I could well imagine ChinStrap and GDC, sort of amusingly including in their solution ideas. What do I do now? I have a feeling I'm meant to be able to resolve this. I mean, that digit is... I don't know. I mean, no. I mean, it's 2 or 3. I don't know which it is. And I'm not even sure these digits outside the grid have helped me at all when I've found them. 7 is in one of those squares. It might be Sudoku. That might be the thing we have to focus on. Or the bottom row. We've got lots of low digits to put in the bottom row. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That can't be 1. That... Oh, no, I thought I was going to get 1 in the bottom row, but it could be there. Oh, that can't be 3. Oh, lovely. Right. Let's go back to this clue. That we've got 5. We've got 1 and 5, so this has to be lower. That's got to be 2 or 4. I don't know why I've ticked that off. But that's... this is now 6, 7, 8. So 8 in this column goes here. Whoa. Whoa. What on earth did that do? That clears a lot. What on earth? But does it actually give me anything? Hang on, I'm just going to keep oscillating this. That is... What's that doing? That's really weird. Is it... Oh, I see. Is it trying to make me fill that digit in? I do not understand. That's really strange. But I can now see that's got to be a 2. That is not an 8 anymore. This is a 6, 7 pair, so we can get rid of some pencil marks. 1, 3... No, we can't quite... Ah, no, we can't. So... What we do now is, I don't know, it's something to do with, I still think it's to do with this, and it's probably, come on brain, come up with something. This, that's a 3, that's definitely a 3, because it's got the 8 is seen and then the 9 will be seen, so that's a 3 and that cleared fog. That one I wouldn't even like to hazard a guess at what that digit is. That one is 3, actually, isn't it? This is seen. It's got to be lower than those. And then that will be seen, and then that will be seen. So that's 3. But it doesn't tell us what this is. It just clears the fog in a sort of really unhelpful place. This one has to be correct, so that has to be... Oh, here's something. That's not 2. I've got 2 in one of these squares. This is 3 or 4. So this digit is 3, 4, 5, 8. But it can't be 3, because then this would go 4, 3, 9, and this clue would be unfulfillable. So this is 4, 5, or 8, I think. It's not 5, so it's 4 or 8. And don't know. I don't know. I think either of those is... Oh. No. I don't know. What? 3, 4, 5, 8. What's going on? Is it? It's not to do with the 2 not going there. Oh. Oh, it nearly is, you know. Where's 2 in this box? It could be there. Could be in either of those cells, I think. 2, 5, 6, 8 into this row. That digit is just 2 or 5. This digit is 2, 6 or 8, I think. Oh no! What's going on? We've got... If this is 7, that's 8. Is there anything wrong with that? If that's 8, that's 7. And then I could put 8 in either of those squares. I don't know. What on earth am I meant to do? Have I used all my my other skyscraper clues? I've done that one, and that one. I can tick those off. Let's tick them off. That's correct. That is, I can't get it wrong, so that's correct. That I can't get wrong. That one I got right in order to create this column, so that's correct. That's correct. That one is correct, whatever I do. This one is correct, whatever I do. These 2 I have to watch out for. Everything else in the perimeter is... That was an incorrect, wasn't it? That one. 5. So this was incorrect. 16 is correct. 10 is incorrect. That 8 will be incorrect. The 9 is incorrect. Oh my goodness me, I know what this is. Oh, you are kidding. You are kidding. Oh, hang on. If I get rid of that now, will it be... Let me just see what happens if I get... Oh, it does. Okay, so... Oh, I know what you've done here. This is really clever. I haven't quite worked out the... Oh, I nearly have. Right. How many of you have got this? I would love to know. I'm so sorry if you've been shouting at me about this, but I haven't. I was so on the wrong wavelength here. This is brilliant. This is... Oh, this is... No, it's even more brilliant. The more I think about it, the more brilliant it's becoming. Right. I sort of understand what this is doing now in revealing a whole load of white cells. The correct question I should have asked is, where is the third correct 9 cage? Because look what this is doing. It just reveals a whole load of stuff. And I think the point is you're meant to then think, oh, okay, it's really hard to put a 9 cage anywhere now. And it is. I think it can go in here, but not as a 3-cell cage. But look at, if we just go through everywhere else, where could it can't, those 2 don't add up to 9. Those 2 don't add up to 9. Those 2 don't add up to 9. I can find no congregation of these that adds up to 9. This one, I don't think can add up to 9. It could be 2, 2, 5, but we'd repeat the 2. So I think that some portion of these cells is a 9, but it's not, I don't think, a 3-cell cage. Because if it was a 3-cell cage, it couldn't have 1 in it, so it would have to be 2, 3, 4, and that's going to break that cell. So there is a 2-cell cage in this column that sums up to 9. And that's either, it can't be 4, 5. I think it's 3, 6. No, that's so good. It is. It's 3, 6, and I know exactly where it goes, because something I hadn't realised is that can't be 6. So where is the 3, 6? If you put the 6 here, that's a 3, and it's going to break. So the only place you can find the final cage, the final 9 cage, at least I assume it's the final cage, is going to be by putting 6 here, I think. Oh yes, it is right. And now this is 3, I think. That is ridiculously clever. Now, this is now 5 by Sudoku, and that's a 1. So that's a 2, that's a 4. That's okay, 2 being there, isn't it? This 4 is giving me some digits. That is an 8 by our old friend, that fair-weathered friend Sudoku. That's 5, that's 2. That is a 2, apparently. And that did clear the fog. 2, 7, 8. 2 goes here. 2, 7, 8. 2, 4. 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. Oh, this is so satisfying. I cannot tell you how clever this puzzle is. 5. Oh, look. Yeah. Now my 8 is not here. So remember we had to have an 8 in one of those squares. It's got to be there now. And that means this is 8 and this is 7. So we now know this is the 4, this is the 3. Okay, it doesn't resolve those, but it still feels like progress. This is a 4, 5 pair, which means that's a 3. It's still working, which is... Oh, we don't get 3 in the corner, though. 4, 5 here. Let's actually just pencil mark it. And that's a 3 apparently. Oh, that's going to do it. So that's 3, that's 4. So that's 4, that's 5. This is 7, this is 6, this is 2, 1, 6, 1. 6. This row needs a 3 in it. That's going to be a 7, I think. This is a 4 in the corner. That's a 2, and that's a 5. And okay, all I've got to do now is do the skyscrapers. That's 4. That's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5, I think. That is 1, 2. That must be 3 then. That's 1, 2. That's 3. That one is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 6, I think. I was right. This one, 1, 2, 4. I'm going to guess. That's a 2. I can do that one quickly. That's a 3. And that might be how to do the puzzle. That is sensational. That's one of the cleverest puzzles I think we've ever done on the channel. That final thing, is it right? Let's just... Oh, yes. Wow. Golly, 150 people have done that in 2 weeks. I mean, goodness me. Was I slow then? Maybe I was. I just didn't think. This is one of the cleverest uses of fog I've ever seen. I mean, I know dynamic fog hasn't been around for that long, but what an idea that is. To hide a cage, the third truth, if you like, in amongst the remaining fog. It just didn't occur to me. It's brilliant. ChinStrap and GDC. What a puzzle. That is really clever. It's just really clever. Let me know in the comments how you got on with this. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind and when they give these constructors an awful lot of credit. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.